It's almost the end of the school year and your state testing might be finished or almost finished. And this is the time of the year when teachers can actually get really creative with our lessons. In this video, I'm sharing 5 ways that you can enjoy the last few weeks of school with your students. If you're new here, I'm Rachel Vincent and I share tips on how to run an effective and efficient classroom so that you can get more done and still have time to teach. One of the easiest way to up the ante at the end of the year is to just take your lessons outside. The weather is better and it is just nice to get out in the mornings before the day heats up or the chaos of recess starts and have an outside lesson. My absolute favorite thing to do is super simple. You just grab some books and head outside and have your class read outside. It's just so lovely to be sitting out there, everyone reading, listening to the sounds of nature, and it gets you outside of the 4 walls of your classroom. Some other things you can do outside are things as simple as writing about nature, having them use their 5 senses, writing poetry, all about the things that are happening in the springtime. You could turn it into a math lesson and do different activities like jumping, hopping, skipping, and having students measure to see how far they can jump or hop or skip. If you have any like messy science experiments that you want to take outside, maybe the, like Alka-Seltzer in the Coke bottle or Mentos in the Coke bottle, you can do those types of science experiments outside. Or just have your kids create skits and things that are going along with your social studies or science lessons or anything to get them outside and get some fresh air. One of the best parts about the end of the year is standardized testing is over, which means as teachers, we can teach lessons that are not in our standards. Some of my favorite things to do at the end of the year are things as simple as art lessons, teaching them cursive writing, even hand lettering. I've taught my students how to play chess before. You can do things like sewing and cooking. The possibilities are endless. And one of the best things to do is actually think about what passions your students have and let your students teach lessons on how to do different things. One year I had a student who was a really good artist and he taught a whole lesson on how to draw dinosaurs. This is really the time of the year where you can hone in on those specialties that your students don't always get to show when having to do the grade level work of reading and writing and math and science and those types of things, and just let your students' personalities show through. I really enjoy getting creative and allowing that creativity to come through at the end of the year. We do lots of art projects. We have created shirts in the past. We pull out the paint and do painting. STEM projects or STEAM projects are always a great thing to try this time of the year if you don't have time to incorporate it throughout the year. Directed drawings, all those things that tend to happen a lot more in the primary grades and you don't quite get to it as often in the upper elementary grades. And if your students are anything like mine, they are a little more antsy this time of the year. They are ready for summer break. I am ready for summer break. So some of the things that are really beneficial are just to find ways to allow your students to play. My students love our team building games and activities, so I will incorporate more of those throughout the school day. You could do things as simple as go noodles or 5-minute dance parties, put on some upbeat music and let your kids have fun. You could also do a board game day where students can bring in board games, or you can borrow some from different teachers in the school and have a board game day. Most students are used to playing video games, and board games are not something that I have found that students play as often, but board games, card games, all those are fun. You could even do something as fun as having a kickball game between your class, or you could team up with another class and play against each other. Things that will just kind of get some of that energy out that they have this time of the year. You definitely want to make sure that you keep as much of your routines as possible, because if you get a little too crazy, then behavior can start to go with it. So choosing 1 or 2 of these activities each day is enough instead of doing a whole day of it, because you want to keep it simple and keep those routines, but you also want to spice it up a little bit. Something fun I've done in the past is a countdown to summer break, where each day we counted down and they had a different activity or different game or different lesson we were going to do, just so they had something to look forward to. The end is near, so we want to make sure that we are keeping our expectations high so that student behavior stays where it needs to be, but we're also having fun and enjoying our students after all of that testing is over. If you need some more ideas for games or activities that you can do with your students that don't require a whole lot of prep, check out the video that's on your screen now, and I am sharing some of my students' favorite games.